Hi, I'm Gary White with Channel 6 Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Milt Spalding, who is the Public Information Officer for the Nelson County Emergency Management. And we're here talking about that March 1st through the 7th is Kentucky Severe Weather Awareness Week. And we want to make everybody aware of that, but also talk about some of the issues that come along with severe weather and how you can be prepared and plan for that. Because as we're recording this, we've already kind of had a lot of what most people consider spring weather already has occurred for us in February. Right. So now as we're actually getting more into spring, we have to be even more alert and aware of these issues. And so first, the week is actually going to kick off on Thursday, March the 1st. There will be a tornado drill statewide at 10:07 a.m. on Thursday the 1st.
Right, and that's a little different. Normally we do that drill on a Tuesday. This year it's going to be on Thursday, March 1st. So at 10:07 thereabout on Thursday morning, we'll be setting off. We are in Nelson County, but statewide, all the tornado sirens will be sounded as a drill. They're kind of testing the system, the sirens. Gives us an opportunity to make sure there's no problems with those before we really get into the severe weather season. And it's also a good time for residents and businesses, schools to practice their tornado drill or their tornado plan. We encourage everyone to have a tornado plan in place and to practice that at least once a year, And so this is a good opportunity for that as well. For, like I said, for residences, for citizens, for businesses, they can do that as well as schools and other community.
Absolutely. So the drill that goes off, that's for the sirens that people, sometimes you'll hear sirens outside, and they are to make people aware and alert that there's the potential for severe weather. Is that correct?
Right, and for like tornadoes, they're sounded when there is an imminent danger, when there is a warning. We don't just set them off just because we think it might happen. When those sirens go off, there is a warning, and so that's to take cover at that point. One thing that we'd like to make the public aware of is that those sirens they're designed to alert you if you're outside. Outdoors, they're not really designed to wake you up at 3 in the morning or to be heard inside of a building. They're designed to alert people who are outside of the imminent danger. So we've got other things in place, and we can talk about that as well. The Nelson County Emergency Notification System, which is a free service you can sign up for. Go to our website, nelsoncountydispatch.com, and there's a button to click to sign up for the service. It's totally free. And you can put in your information, and it's actually twofold. You'll get notifications when there is a severe weather event that is imminent, that is headed our way. Also, it's the other component to it is Smart 911. So hopefully no one ever has to call 911, but if they do, the more information they enter into that system will help the dispatchers if the caller themselves can't speak. If you've entered that you have breathing difficulties and you dial 911 and can't breathe, can't talk, it'll show up on the screen there. Jane Doe here has COPD, she has difficulty breathing, and it will help us to get help to the residents even quicker.
That's great, that's great. Now, speaking of that, when we talk about during the whole week from March 1st through the 7th, the state has kind of allocated various topics to talk about each of those days. And on May 1st, it is tornadoes, which goes along with the drills as well. But you had mentioned that the sirens go off when there is a warning. Now, there are various different levels to the severe weather, right? We could be under a severe storm watch or a warning or an advisory. What are the various different levels? What does that mean?
On the sirens, the sirens are only set if there's a tornado warning.
Right, which is the top level, right?
Tornado warning, or a tornado is imminent or it has been spotted. The watch simply means that conditions are favorable. No tornadoes have been spotted. There's none, spotters haven't seen them. There's nothing indicating on radar. It's just conditions are favorable. It could happen. That's a watch. A warning is when either a radar has indicated there's a certain level of circulation in the clouds, or someone has actually spotted an actual funnel cloud. That's when a warning is issued. That means that one has been spotted or is very imminent. Otherwise, like I said, a watch is just, it could very well happen.
Okay. So the warning is the more severe
Right.
one to look out for, because that means that there's potential for it to occur.
And,
Okay.
and like I said, the sirens are only set for tornado warnings. For severe thunderstorm warnings, we don't set off the sirens. They're only for tornado warnings.
Right. Okay. Now, also on days March 2nd and 3rd, they have allocated to talk about flooding. And we were just last week talking about flooding because there has been flooding issues in Nelson County, particularly in the Boston area, which I believe is starting to recede. And they have two different areas. One is flash flooding and one is river flooding.
Right.
So tell us, what's the difference between flash flood or river flooding?
Of course, a river flood is when the rivers kind of rise, and that's where we've had some issues. Nothing major. I believe as of taping right now, Boston was at 44.4 feet. Flood stage is 35 feet. It's moderate flooding in that area, but it is receding and will continue to recede through about Saturday morning or Saturday evening, I believe. Flash flooding is kind of like the ponding of water on the roadways. Here in Bardstown, they're on North 3rd and 245. They're just south of the intersection. There's a lot of times water will gather. If we had a lot of rain really quickly, that water will pond there in that roadway. And the flash flooding is just kind of when it's sudden. It covers roadways. And that's one thing to keep in mind as we move forward with the weather season, severe weather season. Don't ever try to drive through a flooded roadway. You don't know how deep that is, especially at nighttime, because it's harder to see, but it's really difficult to determine the depth of that water. And people underestimate rather the force of water. You think it's not that big of a deal, but I think it's like 6 inches of water will knock an adult off their feet. 12 inches will knock a small car off the roadway. At 2 feet of water can just push most vehicles off the roadway.
Wow.
So without knowing exactly how much water you're driving into or the force that's behind that water, it could cause some real problems for you.
And that's like with flash flooding, that could be when it's a severe downpour. Be careful out there because that can just come, it's a flash, it comes right away, hence its name. So also during the week we have lightning, which can come obviously during thunderstorms, and as we get more into the spring, they're more likely. What are some practical points for people with regards to, one, the tornadoes that we talked about, and two, with lightning? Are there some kind of plans that people should have or ways to kind of prevent injury with them?
Just always be aware of your situational awareness. Increase that. Monitor with the weather when you think there's a threat. If you're in a mobile home, just get out. Find somewhere to go. Go to a friend's house, an underground shelter, a nearby permanent structure. A mobile home can be just, even if it's tied down very well, can just be obliterated by a tornado. Of course, in cases of lightning, just try not to be outdoors. Get to an indoor shelter as quickly as you can, and just try to stay out of the weather. Because another problem with tornadoes is flying debris. A lot of that wind force, you've got stuff just flying around, and it comes at you with such speed and such force, you don't even see it coming. So kind of be aware of what's out there. Once, of course, you get the warnings, then the watches. Just be aware of what's happening. Monitor the weather, whether it's weather radio, NOAA weather radio, local media, internet, just however you get your weather, your phones. Be aware and watch that, monitor it.
Absolutely. And the last topic that they had too were thunderstorms. And with thunderstorms, as of course, it can be lots of rain, but also you can get hail. And going with the tornadoes or a certain particular wind event, but also just straight line winds sometimes come, and we're likely to have them here in Kentucky as well. And they can be just as damaging sometimes as a tornado too. So be aware and be alert, and kind of, as you were saying, just know what your surroundings are.
Exactly.
And a great way, as Milt had mentioned, to kind of get all that information is to sign up for your alert system.
That's right.
And one more way, how can they do that?
You go to nelsoncountydispatch.com. There's a button on there to click to sign up for that. If you need help, we're going to try to have some different opportunities to help people get signed up. Some people don't maybe have access to the internet or don't have a computer, or they may just not be very tech savvy. We're going to try to do some outreach where we can help people get signed up, and feel free to call us at dispatch if you need assistance, and I'll be more than happy to explain it talk a little bit more about it.
Absolutely. And that's for severe weather as well as for accidents or some other instances that just need to get that information out there.
Right. And there's some, some other uses that we're going to try with that as well. We're working with the city of Bardstown to try to get some information out from them as well. So it's going to be a great system and a great tool for the community. And looking forward to getting people signed up and getting that to put to use.
Great. And again, I've been talking with Milt Spalding, who's the Public Information Officer for Nelson County Emergency Management. And March 1st through the 7th is Kentucky Severe Weather Awareness Week. So if you don't have a plan on what to do, it's a great time for either a family or a business or a school, as Milt had mentioned, to create that plan. Hopefully you won't need it in the future, but it's better to have it than to not. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, it's been Gary White for Channel 6 Television.